These men in black are one of the leading.
It's all good production.
Channel of Kool.
And yet there's disturbing elements of the UFO experience. The phenomenon is reported worldwide, and the stories that witnesses tell are remarkably The UFO can be an exhilarating experience.
Ladies, gentlemen, the unidentified, internet land dwellers, new subscribers and all, I'm your host, Mizterkool with the Z, Kool with the K. Welcome to the Censored Theory. Sometimes fact can be scarier than fiction. On this podcast, topics with factual evidence will be presented as a goal to better understand the world in which we live in and what our role is within it. Does free will dictate this? Or are we all just players in their game of life? This is episode 1, the Georgia Guidestones. Georgia Guidestones, mysterious instructions for the post-apocalypse. On a barren field in Georgia, U.S., 5 granite slabs rise in a star-like pattern. Each of them weighs over 20 tons, and on top of them, there's a capstone. The huge blocks send a message out to the world in 8 different current languages, as well as 4 extinct ones, ancient Greek and Egyptian hieroglyphs, for example. The set of 10 guidelines has baffled people around the world, descriptions ranging from perfect to utopian to satanic or quirky. But no matter what the case is, these 10 commandments should definitely get you thinking. Maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. Guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity. Unite humanity with a living new language. Rule passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason. Protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts. Let all nations rule internally, resolving external disputes in a world court. Avoid petty laws and useless officials. Balance personal rights with social duties. Prize truth, beauty, love, seeking harmony with the infinite. Be not a cancer on the earth and leave room for nature. Leave room for nature. While some of them are clearly noble and laudable, like having fair laws and avoiding petty ones, some of them have stirred controversy, especially, quote, maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. Now my question would be, if we are indeed placed on this earth to reproduce, why are we putting a limit to our population? Guide reproduction wisely. You're already doing that with the Margaret Sanger program. We'll dive into that later. It has to be kept in mind that these commandments have to be applied after the alleged apocalyptic event. It's not clear why they settled on 500 million. But the bottom line is that even though we hate to admit it, the world is overpopulated right now. I need to see proof because 15 years ago, you also said global warming was going to kill us by the year 2020. Al Gore had it all mapped out by the year 2020. New York was going to be somewhat submerged. The construction of a post-apocalyptic monument. Whoever built them definitely knew what they were doing. The slabs stand proud and sturdy and will endure through the centuries with minimal damage. They also have a remarkable set of other features. For example, they feature a built-in channel that indicates the celestial pole, a horizontal slot that shows the annual travel of the sun, as well as the system that marks noontime throughout the year.
And you take pictures of it, you get a blue orb. When you put your head in there like this and look through it, a ball of energy comes through that sucker, man.
It all started on a Friday in June 1979. An elegantly dressed gray-haired man showed up in Elbert County and introduced himself as R.C.Christian, a reference to Christian Rosicrucian, or Christian Rose Cross in English, and he represents a small group of loyal Americans. Rosicrucian is a legendary character that founded the Order of the Rose Cross. He quickly became one of the most important and mysterious figures of the time by blending Christianity with some teachings of Arab and Persian sages. R.C.Christian admitted that this is not his real name, but refused to reveal anything about his identity. Joe Finley, president of the company that specialized in granite construction, didn't care too much about this, that is, until he found out what the monument R.C.Christian had in mind. He explained that it would be a compass, calendar, and clock, and also be engraved with a set of quote-unquote guides written in 8 of the world's languages. Finley believed he was dealing with a crazy man and wanted to get rid of him. So he explained that a large number of tools and machines would be required, but Christian just nodded. He then quoted a price several times greater than the real one, but again, Christian seemed indifferent. So Finley sent him to Wyatt Martin, president of the Granite City Bank. Martin is probably one of the people who have seen and spoken to the mystery man the most. The astrological specifications were incredibly complex, so the construction company had to employ the help of an astronomer from the University of Georgia. The complex indicates the day of the year, equinoxes, and the solstice, among others, but the main feature is the 10 guides engraved in several languages. The mission statement raises the first few question marks. Pay attention. Let these be the guidestones to an age of reason. But the controversy started even before the monument was finished, many claiming it to be the devil's work. The main problem is that the commandments engraved on the stones are quite eccentric, to say the least. It didn't take a lot to compare the first 2 commandments to the practices of Nazis, among others, but again, this doesn't mean that a large part of mankind has to disappear. The guides apply to a post-apocalyptic event. This can be very hard to digest, but seeing things from their point of view is quite interesting. Guide number 3 instructed people to use a common language, which would greatly reduce numerous difficulties throughout today's world. Achieving such a task is, however, impossible at the moment due to evident practical reasons. This is the part that bothered and annoyed the Christians, who quoted the Bible saying that a common tongue is the mark of the Antichrist. Same thing with rule, passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reasons. For some, faith has to be the Alpha and Omega with nothing else in between. For others, finding a sustainable balance is a much noble goal. The structure, sometimes referred to as an American Stonehenge, sure stirred a lot of controversies, but it got us thinking, which means that at least a part of this objective was achieved. Even ignoring the more controversial commandments, the final 6 should definitely be worth achieving. After all, what's wrong with avoiding unnecessary officials and prizing truth? This place is located in the heart of the Bible Belt. Creflo Dollar, Charles Blake, T.D. Jakes, have they mentioned this in their services, in their mega churches? Pastor Jenkins of First Baptist Church of Glenarden, a mega church in Upper Marlboro, Maryland, who did work with T.D. Jakes. Has he taught you congregates about these stones? There's a lot of people that never even heard of the Georgia Guidestones. You come to the right channel to get that information. Many close to me attend these churches and look at me as the nut job, but you can't refute what I just gave. Now I turn it over to you, the listeners. What are your thoughts? Do you feel the Guidestones dictate more good than evil? Are they possibly a warning? Maybe a reminder with our so-called free will? There could be unforeseen consequences that come with that right. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and stay tuned for more episodes of The Censored Theory.
I've had people stop and say it was some kind of Satan worship shrine and it ought to be torn down. And I've had others say it was the holiest spot on earth, that the Holy Grail was buried under there. Some people think it's a beacon to UFOs.
Channel of Kool.